Hello YouTube, Grimace here from Hike, California, and I'm curious, do you believe in New Year's resolutions? I don't really believe in resolutions, but I do believe in having goals. And here's why. If you told me that you wanted to meet me at the Empire State Building, right? It doesn't matter how far away from the Empire State Building is, if I know that you want to meet there, and when you want to meet there, I can figure out how to get there. I can figure out some combination of walking, driving, flying, wherever I am, swimming perhaps, wherever I am, I can get to the Empire State Building if I know where I'm going. I can draw a map. Conversely, if you just dropped me off next door to the Empire State Building, but didn't tell me you wanted to meet there, guess what? We're not meeting at the Empire State Building. I don't know to just go next door. I don't know where we're going. So it doesn't matter how close I am. We're not going to meet there because I don't know the destination. So as I come into a new year, I really like to set my destination for the year. I really like to chart my course and figure out where I'm trying to go. Coming into 2021, my hiking goals were pretty modest. 2020 was a bit of a lost season for a lot of people, including myself. I didn't get a lot of miles on the trail, but I did accomplish some of my goals. I did do a big group trip, which I had always wanted to do because I had hiked so much solo prior to that. I had gotten to do that. I had done quite a bit coming into this year. I really wanted to get more miles on the trail. And this year, I think I tripled the number of miles that I did in 2020 and more than doubled what I had done in 2019 as well. So this year was a great success as far as just getting miles on the trail. Now, I'm not a through hiker. My numbers are going to pale in comparison to someone who's maybe through hiked the Pacific Crest Trail. But for me, for a weekend warrior who gets out, maybe every other weekend and gets some miles on the trail, it was a big, significant increase for me. So I feel really good about that. I dialed in my gear a bit more. I didn't get quite as many overnights as I would like. So what are my goals for 2022? Well, they're pretty simple, actually. I have 3 of them. Number 1, a few years ago, I really got serious about my weight. I had gotten overweight over time. I was an athlete when I was younger, and I just sort of kept eating like an athlete, but wasn't really performing like one. And so I just got a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. And I looked down and I was just horribly overweight. Now I'm still overweight, but about 3 years ago, I dropped 50 pounds. I got to a place where I felt pretty comfortable in my body. There was room to go still, but I felt really good about where I was. Over time, over the pandemic especially, I have put some of that weight back on. So for me, 2021 was still a good year as far as building my fitness, building my strength. We had the Hetch Hetchy Valley trip in July, and I held up physically really well through most of that trip. It did kind of fall apart at the end, but like almost all of it, I did really well. And so I want to continue to build on that this year, to continue to build my fitness, build my strength, but I also want to lose weight. So my goal is to lose 25 pounds in the calendar year 2022. Now, I like what's called a SMART goal. SMART goal means it is specific, it is measurable, it is achievable, it is relevant to the rest of your goals, and it is time bound. So specifically, I want to lose 25 pounds in the calendar year 2022. I also want to, as I mentioned earlier, I didn't get quite as many overnights as I would like. I want to do at least one overnight hike each month in 2022. Now, that's going to be an average because I'm probably not going to be doing a lot of overnights in February, January, just a virtue of snow on the mountains, and it's just hard to get out. But I want to average, to do 12 overnights in a year. It should actually be pretty achievable, but I do want to set that as one of my goals. And then the third goal, and this is the big one for me, is I want to through hike the Backbone Trail. For those of you who don't know, the Backbone Trail is a 67-mile trail through the Santa Monica Mountains. It goes from Will Rogers State Park to Point Mugu State Park. That's east to west. Some people hike it west to east. I think the idea of ending overlooking the Pacific Ocean is pretty unbeatable. So I want to hike that from beginning to end. As I mentioned, it's 67 miles long with about 18,000 feet of elevation gain going east to west and about 19,000 feet of elevation loss. What's particularly tricky about the Backbone Trail is it was only recently completed, and there's no dispersed camping on the entire trail, so you have to stay at designated sites. Now, there aren't very many designated sites, and there are long stretches between the designated sites, and to add on top of that, water is also really hard to come by. There are long stretches without water, and while you can cache at the road crossings, there is at least one 16-mile stretch between road crossings. So it's a bit of a logistical challenge figuring out the road crossings and the water and the campsites, but one of the things that happens is the way that they're all laid out is there are going to be multiple high mileage days necessary to get from one campsite to the other because there are long stretches without campsites. So though I did increase my fitness a great deal this year, though I did increase my mileage a great deal this year, and by this year I mean 2021, there's work to be done. And in order to get to where I can do multiple high mileage days in a row, I've talked some in the past about my foot issues, my ankle issues, my recovery issues. I will need to really focus on those and really work on those. And I'm working with a trainer on that now, which should help with the weight loss, which should help with the joint issues. So these all kind of tie into each other. Even the overnights just is kind of a shortcut to more mileage, more higher mileage days. Spending more time outside. So those are my 3 goals for 2022. I would love if you'd leave a comment below and tell me, what are your goals for 2022? Do you set goals at the beginning of every year? What are you looking to do? What are you trying to connect with? Can I help you out? Is there any way that I can kind of give you some information, some advice? I would love to hear from you. And hey, let's do this again sometime.